please.
Cooper Temple Claws. Who needs enemies? Good question, lads. Nobody. This is XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais.
Oh, they should print a little book of those. They're great. Oh, how you can relate any song or artist to anything else.
Easy.
Joyful.
Easy. Well, yeah, so, me and Carl went out, for a beer, and it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed myself.
We started off, and you met my mate Robin, didn't you?
Yeah.
And some of the stories. Do you want to tell Steve some things about Robin that you learned?
Do you know him well?
Yes.
Well, do you know about his worm problem as a kid?
Go on.
Right. What I can remember is he had worms as a kid. Not sure how you get him. He never answered me. He was getting a bit touchy about it.
Right.
This is like the second time I met him. And I think he was a bit annoyed that Ricky told me about his problem.
What now? Now straight away, you not being there, instinctively, what do you think went on with this story about worms?
My suspicion is rather like when you told a group of people that Robin had once suckled milk from a cow's udder.
Yeah.
Did he mention that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. My suspicion is that, like the cow story, the worm story is not true.
But
and
why would he get so sort of uppity about it?
Well, imagine if that wasn't the first time he'd done it. Imagine if he did that every single time he was with somebody for the first time and Robin was just met them. He will tell that story to anyone.
But they do say there's no smoke without fire.
Oh, Robin! I also told him that the way Robin cured these worms was because the doctor told his mother, right, to hold a piece of ham or cheese near Robin's anus so the worms would come out for the food, and he believed it.
I'll tell you why, though.
I said to Robin used to sit on spam to try and get the worms out, and he believed it.
But Steve, right, do you remember that story about 3 or 4 years ago where there was some bloke in the army? He went away to somewhere, Vietnam or whatever. He was messing about in the woods.
Messing about in the woods?
Shouldn't he have been fighting?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right, and he walked through some lake, and I think he'd cut his toe or something on something, and some worm of some sort crawled in the gash.
Yeah.
And it was in his body, and the doctor said, we've got to get this out of your body. So what they did was, they said, right, the thinnest part or something of your body that things can crawl through is on the top of your head. So they wrapped
where the skull is.
So they wrapped some bacon.
No, they didn't.
They did. That's
right.
Everyone...
So it's gone in by the toe. So what we do is, I'll tell you what, that worm's probably heading straight for the head. We'll put a bit of bacon on it. The thinnest part of the body is the skull. Of course it's not the thinnest part of the body. It's where your brain case is, isn't it? It's the skull.
There was a reason for it. And it was like they stuck some bacon on his head. And
as ever, the vital piece of information, i.e. the reason, Carl seems to have forgotten.
Because the worm was in his body, and they said everyone likes to smell of bacon.
Including worms. Even a Vietnamese lake worm. They love bacon.
Remember last week when I said about the little fella with the bone with no brain, and you were proved wrong?
No. We were saying it wasn't a little fella. We were saying it was a stillborn child. It wasn't a little fella.
You're changing it now. You weren't having any of it last week.
Right, hang on a minute. I'm getting confused. There was a Vietnamese snake that went inside of a soldier.
A little, like, maggot or some sort that you have to get out of your body because it causes problems.
Yes, and so in order to get it out of the body, they strapped bacon to his head.
Yeah.
That is great. This doctor.
And did that work?
I think so. They had a picture of him smiling.
Oh, God, what, the worm or the bloke?
The bloke.
Oh, dear.
Honestly, I hope someone knows the story.
Right.
It was about 3 years ago, I reckon.
Okay.
And, yeah, it did work.
GI bacon.
So this is why
the worm burrowed out of his head to get the bacon?
Get to the bacon.
Right. That's great.
So this is why when Robin was telling his story, I was a little bit disappointed if it wasn't true.
Right.
Because in a way...
You know Robin's never been to Vietnam.
No, but do you really think that Robin, well, as Robin said at the time, Carl, why would I sit on ham, then tell Ricky Gervais? It's a very good point.
Because if he was a kid, you do daft things like that as a kid.
Right.
It's the telling Ricky Gervais, though.
Yeah. And then, oh, bless him.
Okay.
And then anyway, Robin left, and, I tried to chase him, but he got away, and he knows, and and then we had a few pints, and then, Carl embarked on some of the greatest stories ever told. Can you tell the story about your dad?
Let me run it. I haven't spoke to him all week, so let me run it by him.
Okay, play records.
You know,
What we got?
we've got one of Steve's.
Yeah, well, bizarrely enough, this comes from the Teachers 2 soundtrack, the soundtrack to the current TV series. There's a slight whiff of nepotism in the air.
Yeah.
Rick, would you like to explain why?
Well, that's why you're doing it. My girlfriend worked on it, but
Yeah.
you were going to play this anyway, weren't you?
Well, I was actually. Bizarrely enough, I was going to play some I Am Clute, and this is from, as I say, the Teachers soundtrack. And this is called To You. It's a good track. That's I Am Clute, and a track called To You from the Teachers soundtrack. That's also got, I know it's the Electric Soft Parade, the Hives, Star Sailor, Feeder, Turin Breaks, Mercury Rev on there. It's a good little collection.
Lovely. Carl has just had confirmation. He's looking smug because someone phoned up and went, "It is true. It's a Laogai chi worm, and you wrap bacon around your head." That's all the bloke knew as well.
Yeah.
And his name was Gary.
Yeah.
So I'm not having it.
No.
And he said, see, that's why the Robin thing isn't so weird. He said, but when you said he tried it with cheese, he said I was having none of it. He's got standards. Strokes, hard to explain. Like Carl, really.
Yes. Yes.
So, Carl, concentrate.
Yeah, go on.
So, we'll leave the worm with the bacon wrapped around the head, shall we?
Well, if you're ever caught in the jungle,
Yeah. Always carry some...
bit of Danish.
Good advice. Lovely. So, would you like to start on your... to Steve, because I've heard all these.
Well, we won't do them all.
Well, we'll start off with the Mr. Freeze. Tell Steve the story of Mr. Freeze. This is the first time he nearly died.
This is the most serious of the lot, really. So, what it was, do you know, like, I don't know if your mum and dad did the same thing, but, like, they do the weekly shopping on like a Friday.
Yeah.
So when you got to Thursday, there wouldn't be much stuff left in the cupboard. It'd just be like, you know, your Jacob's crackers and stuff like that. So when they'd been to the supermarket and they came back, I was like, you know, what's that saying? Like a pig in... You know, I loved it. It was like loads of food coming in, loads of biscuits.
What is that saying?
He nearly said pig in shit.
Right.
Is that the same?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, all this food comes in.
Thank God he didn't.
Otherwise he'd have been in trouble.
That's true enough.
Because he's culpable for our actions, because
Exactly.
he's the producer. So technically, that twat's in charge. Go on.
Right, so anyway, so there's loads of food, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at this, and chocolate biscuits, and, you know, penguins and stuff.
Bacon.
And bacon.
Just in case, you never know.
So anyway, my mum and dad's putting the food away. Me and our kid are like, he's already grabbed something, gone back upstairs.
It's like feral children. it's like a quest for fire. And then they run upstairs. What did he just sit under the bed, gnawing at some sort of pig's trotter?
So I saw, do you remember Mr. Freeze Pops?
I do, yes. Well, they're kind of like popsicles, icicles.
Yeah, but really long, like a foot long, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, I'll have one of them, so I grabbed it.
Went for the nutritious stuff first.
Absolutely.
And like my mum and dad are putting the stuff away and what have you. And I rip it open and knock it back, right? Straight away, just right back like
Swallow
that.
it straight
right
away,
down But it went down the wrong way, right? So I
What,
was
down
like,
your shirt?
So I was like, oh god, I can't breathe. And my mum and dad didn't even know what I'd ate. Do you know what I mean? I ate it so quick.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of tapping my mum on the back, going, and she's going, oh god, you know, he's choking again, because I was always choking. If it was one thing, I don't know if I've got like a small throat, but I mean, even Ricky knows I can't drink that much, can I?
Yeah.
Do you know,
Or eat pebbles.
I'm not a quick drinker. I'd always, I think I'm scared of like swallowing stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like bottle tops and mint imperials and stuff. I was always choking on stuff. So anyway, she's going, oh god, what's he picked up on it now?
Drop it!
So-
hit his nose with a stick.
So I was going, oh, I'm choking. At this point, my dad had like, I think he'd put his share away, you know, his food away, and he'd gone.
His share! I love it!
Yeah.
He'd gone to watch like Winner Takes All or whatever in the lounge, and I was in the kitchen, and I was starting to like I didn't care anymore. Do you know what I mean? I just got to that point where I wasn't struggling anymore.
You just thought, I'm done
I just
for.
was like falling to the ground. And my mum's going, you know, get in here, I think it's serious. My dad comes in and sort of starts shouting at me, saying that's what you get for being greedy. He didn't even know what I'd eaten.
Well, it was the moment to teach you a lesson, certainly.
So he's there like that, and my mum's going, oh, look at him, and my lips were going purple, and my eyes were rolling into the back of my head.
You look like Marilyn Manson.
And, so anyway, she grabbed me from behind and did that fireman thing.
The Heimlich manoeuvre.
Yeah. And, you know, winded me. and it came up, and I was alright.
What, the whole popsicle came flying back out?
You see, that's what I don't understand, because there was nothing there.
No, just a little bit. No, it swells up, doesn't it? Because it irritated it, so it went down your, just sort of like your epiglottis. It went down the wrong way, like it went into your air canal instead of your throat, and it sort of sort of spasms, and that's the fear. You just got to calm it down and relax.
So in time, I would have been alright.
Yeah,
anyway.
you don't.
Well, no, you might have.
So that's so that's
hang on,
one.
No, but the weird thing is, like, for like 3 days after that, I felt like a sort of a special person. I went to school.
I'm saying nothing.
I did full days.
A special needs person.
Yeah.
I went to school the next 3 days after that. I didn't like wag it or anything. I did full days.
I love that. 3 days, turn over.
Yeah, exactly. After 3 days, you thought, screw it.
Yeah, did a quick history exam.